just in case you're getting a headache, realize that we're not going to be saying too much more of Learn and Serve, because we are here to greet our first guest, Mayor Harvey Skoog.
Good morning, Bill.
Good morning, Mayor. Good to see you.
Thank you, and I'm honored to be here.
One of the things, Harvey, I must tell you before we find out what you feel about kids volunteering and other things going on in our community. When I said you were coming in, I have had more positive reaction than anybody, sorry Paul, than anybody, and I think again it's because of not only the reputation you have, but the wonderful things you've done the past few years in our community. So I want to let you know, Mayor Skoog, you are loved by these kids.
Well, I appreciate that, and I love these kids. I recognize at least two of them having been in our Mayor's Youth Advisory Council. You're a great bunch of young people. I'm pretty proud of you, too, because I think you're supplementing your young life with positive thinking, fulfilled education, patriotism, loyalty to country, and to your fellow citizens. And for that, I'd like to congratulate you. You're a great bunch of young people, and we're proud of you.
Thank you, Mayor Skoog. Now, you mentioned something, need you to elaborate. And those people who haven't seen the show before, we're unscripted, trust me. We call it warts and all, but we also kind of make it up as we go. And when I hear something that I want just a little bit more information on, not only for me, but for the students and even for our audience, you mentioned the Mayor's Advisory Council. What is that?
That is a group of young people that actually sit in and at least one of our council meetings a year, get to see the governor, a visit down to Phoenix, wow, which we provide. Several events, including a fundraising event, a lot of fun, and a learning experience. And we're hoping to make it better. And the way it's better is when people participate.
Absolutely, sure. And as you know, that's what this group is all about. The Youth Chamber has been in existence now going into our 5th year. They've won a lot of awards, but at the same time, I think the most important thing isn't the awards. It's what they've been able to accomplish in the community. Now, you see youth out there quite often. Where do you see youth in addition to the council? Where else do you see them?
Well, I think the youth, of course, just the fact that you're in school is a big plus, because you're building for the future, not your future only, but the future of our country, the future of our families. And you're really going to be you're there, you're moving in that direction in another 10, 15, 20 years. Some of you will be sitting as mayors, as council members, teachers, superintendents, construction bosses. Whole world will be yours, and prepare for it well.
Right, and I think that preparation is a very important part. As I mentioned before, we do a lot of non-traditional things in our class, and one of the things I like to do is teach heroes. And I always start off with people who really have given of themselves, and one of the heroes I chose this year was Randy Pausch. Randy Pausch wrote a book not too long ago called The Last Lecture. And he was a young man, now in his 40s, but you know, for us that's young.
That's young.
That's young, exactly. And he found out in his 40s that he had 10 tumors in his liver and that he was going to die. And he had 2 very small children and a beautiful wife. And yet he did this incredible book on how to live your life. Not how to die, but how to live your life. And the kids learned so many good things from that, as did I. And one of my favorite things, and I know you're very good at this, in fact you just kind of mentioned it whether you realized it or not. Randy talked about something called the head fake. And that is where you're teaching one thing, but they're actually learning something else. You, for example, mentioned that what we're learning in here is not only for a grade, it's not only for Learn and Serve in our celebration. Thank you. It's also for down the road. It's down the road, whether it's for their job, as you mentioned, whether it's for the choice of a career. So many things we teach in this class maybe aren't obvious right now, but so many of them make them better citizens. In fact, I know when we were talking before the show, you talked about that these are our future citizens and so many of the things they learn here. And by the way, thanks for the plug about staying in school too, because so many kids hear from others out there, oh, you know, drop out early, make big money, and it really doesn't take place for a majority of people. They start off at $5.50, and that's pretty much what they're doing down the road. The high school education, the college education, the trade school, those things are so important.
And I'll tell you, if you want to distinguish yourself, learn. And above all, learn how to speak in front of a group. Oh. Learn how to think on your feet. Learn how to put it down in black and white, good writing. That's the very basic of requirements if you want to distinguish yourself as you get older.
Well, I'm so glad you said that.
There's nothing wrong with learning how to pound nails, do that, that's important. Carpentering, mechanicking, all that is important. But if you really want to distinguish yourself, learn how to think on your feet.
Right, and also you mentioned that part, the importance of the communication. Our friend John Rossi, who of course is our great videographer and who you recognized right away when you came in here, I kind of popped something on him last week, and at the last minute I took him over to see Marty Yule and the Prescott Valley Chamber and to sit in on the show. He was the guest between myself and Marty, and we were on television and on radio, and I know you've done that show many times.
I have.
And John just did such a wonderful job. He was panicking, he was going crazy, he's shaking his head right now. And when we showed the video, he buried himself. But as I pointed out to him, that skill is so important. And it is scary. In fact, the book of Lists, this wonderful publication, says of the top 10 fears we have in the country, number one is public speaking. Yet at the same time, there's not a more important skill. Even, for example, like you mentioned, if you're in a trade where you're making things, who gets promoted? Who gets the supervisory jobs, the ones that can communicate?
Always.
Always.
And believe me, I was about 40 years old before I could stand in front of a group and say one word. Before that, I was 100% tongue-tied. My knees wouldn't allow me to stand there.
And now he's mayor.
Now I'm mayor.
Second time around.
Second time around, right.
Well, Mayor, we're coming to the end of our brief time together. I was just wondering if there's anything else you wanted to share in our last minute or two, that message for the kids or the community as a whole?
Well, I'm not sure I can give you a good message. Keep in mind that your life is going to be a timetable. You've been given X number of years. You don't have any control over the day you were born, and you quite likely don't have any control over the day you die. But you do have control of the years in between, and make good use of those times. Show reasonable progress, and do it in a reasonable time. Don't make excuses, make goals, study hard, work hard, be loyal to your parents, take good care. Remember Mom and Dad, they have a tough time too. Help them in the house with household chores. Come to school, take part in activities, help Mr. Suedmeyer make a better class. And just keep making yourself useful. That's going to make you happier, it's going to make everyone else happier.
Mayor Skoog, you can see, folks, why we brought him in for our Learn and celebration. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Harvey.
This Learn and Serve is something new to me, and I'm enjoying it.
He gave you a cue, folks. Thank you so much.
Yay!
Always a pleasure, Harvey. Paul McCauley is going to be joining us in a moment. Before that, I just want to go over, for those people who joined in the middle, to let you know we are the Youth Chamber Show from Prescott Valley Charter School. We also want to make sure we thank Mrs. Connie Reveal, who is our Chief Administrator, Mrs. Betty Campbell, who is our Principal, all the great